Okay, what is going on, everyone? Take a quick second here, soak this in, some beauty while we talk some business. So I always get a lot of questions on my channel. I figure if one of you guys are asking a question, it can benefit all of you. So what we're going to do starting today is a weekly question and answer. I'm going to be digging through the comments, and I'm going to be making a video and trying to give a nice answer, a thorough answer to all the questions that you have. I figured this would be a good way that I can easily answer some of these questions and get some detailed answers back to you guys in a timely manner. So we're going to do this every week. Start dropping comments in the or start dropping questions in the comments, stuff that you want to have answered, and we're going to start getting to that. So in no special order or fashion, let's get out the comment board here, and we'll start taking some rips here. What kind of license and insurance did you purchase? I did not purchase any licenses. Insurance is a question that I get frequently. You do not need any sort of special insurance to do this kind of work. I have a general liability contractor insurance, and what that does is it protects you from damaging someone else's property while you are there doing some work. If you drop a ladder through the window, if you damage the paint, siding, anything like that, a general contractor's insurance will cover that. I pay about $1,000 a year for my insurance. It's really not that bad. It's about $2 million worth of coverage. It also covers fire and things like that. No special licenses, at least not in my area. I don't want to speak too definitively on that because I'm working right here and that's about it. But that's as far as it goes, as far as the licenses and insurance goes. What size ladder are you using? I carry two ladders on my truck. I carry a 20-foot ladder and I carry a 32-foot ladder. They're both aluminum / fiberglass ladders. The 32-foot ladder is an absolute nightmare. I can't stand it. It's a real big pain in the butt to move. It's also a little bit more than you probably need. A 28 would probably be better, a little bit lighter and a little bit more mobile. My 20-foot ladder is great for almost everything. It's super light. You can carry it with one hand. I absolutely love using my fiberglass ladder. I believe they're both Warners, and that really helps. That will cover almost everything. A lot of the two-story houses, you probably would need a 28. I would recommend a 28. I'm probably going to switch to that eventually. I'm going to wear the hell out of this ladder a little bit longer, the 32, and then once it's on its final legs, I'll switch over. Can I use only SH and water on a roof without soap? There's really no reason why you can't. There's a lot of times that I forget to use soap, or if I'm just lazy to bring it. You don't need soap really for anything except for the fact that it slows down your runnage. So if you don't have soap on the shingles, if you don't have a nice thick soap, all that SH is going to just run off the roof. You're just going to have to apply more. So it's not really a you do or you do not need it. It's just, do you want to use it? Most guys will use soap on house washes and roof washes. I mostly just use them on roof washes. I do not use any soap on house washes unless I'm really trying to grab debris, spider webs. If it's just really covered, that sticky surfactant, that soap will help lift all that stuff up, and it'll bring it down a lot easier with your rinsing. What size fuses do I run? So when I was using the Everflow pumps, the 5.5 gallon Everflow pumps, I was blowing fuses like crazy. I was always stopping and getting a lot of fuses because they were blow and blow and blow. Most pumps, at least all the Everflows that I had, either came with 15 or 20 amp fuses. I bumped them all up as high as I could go. To fit in that size category of fuses is typically a 30 amp fuse. I had a tough time finding any 40s or 50s that would fit in the little box that goes that has that fuse, inline fuse in it. Definitely try to get as high as you can, and again, it's usually a 30 amp fuse. The pumps that I use now, the flow jets, it's a 6 gallon per minute flow jet. It does not have an inline fuse. I've never had an issue with the current. It just doesn't come that way, and I never put an inline fuse in. It runs fine. I have a customer complaining about plant damage 2 weeks later. I was just using my, oh, okay, let me start that one over. I have a customer complaining about plant damage 2 weeks later. I was just using my down streamer. I have to go and take a look later today at the plants. If the damage was caused by me, can you tell me what I should expect to see? Usually bleach damaged plants, it's gonna look spotty, right? Because if you think about the SH coming off of the house, it's gonna be splattering. Usually that gets into the plants. Let me stretch back into my biology days. I think that's chlorophyll or chlor something that gives it its color. You're gonna damage that. You're gonna turn it white. You're gonna bleach it out. Typically, if you're going 2 weeks later, I mean, the plant could be completely dead. I really don't know. I have never really had an issue with plants. I've never been called back for plants. I have been to people's houses that have had other wash guys there, and you can tell when the plants look damaged, and it really looks spotty. I would be very careful. That's why you always want to go into it, rinse everything, use appropriate chem. You don't need to be doing house washes and anything over 3%. That's pretty high for a house wash. You should know. You should know if you might have caused issue with those plants. I would just be looking to see if it's real spotty or not. Okay, this question has to do with this mossy roof here. Yeah, this was a really bad one. It says, don't customers want to see the moss off after the first visit? They trust you. Oh, they trust you that it'll come off itself with the rain, or do you come back and remove it? I like to have conversations as in depth with the customer as possible. For this particular job, I was not going to be brushing this. I do try to remove as much moss as possible. There's way too much here on this roof. For this job, I pitched removing what was possible on some other buildings and then treating this and killing it all. Yeah, you can't get all that off, but it says they trust that you'll come off with itself in the rain. I never tell anyone that. I don't believe myself that it's going to come off in the rain. That's why I brush it. If I'm leaving moss on the roof, I'm telling people that it's going to die. We live in the Northeast, so I say maybe the snow will drag it off, but the rain and the wind, I don't truly believe that. So what I do is I have the conversation, and this is about what it is. When I get to your house, I'm going to get up on the roof. I'm going to use a light brushing technique to remove as much excess moss from your shingles without causing damage to the granule. Any remaining moss that does not come off is going to be treated. It's going to immediately turn white, and by the time I come off your roof, it's going to start turning brown. Over time, that moss will come off, but it could take anywhere from 2 weeks to 2 years. It's up to Mother Nature at that point. What I can guarantee you is that the moss will be dead. It'll no longer be holding water. It will no longer, or your roof will be able to shed water the way that it was intended. You want to be able to educate them on the process concisely and to the point, and never make any promises that you don't intend to keep. So I try to get off as much moss as possible, and the rest gets treated, and the rest is up to Mother Nature, and that's what I tell them. I don't give them timelines or anything like that. Your business and your word is key. You don't want to be saying anything that you can't back up. Let's see. Here's another one. How hot was your mix for that? I would say at least 6%. I'd turn it right up. I think at that point I was using 12.5 bleach. I'm using 15% bleach, so when you crack it wide open, at least back when it was 12.5, you'd be getting around 6%. All right, here's a good one. Getting ready to jump into this. Pricing is something I don't understand. I know every place is different by cost of living, but I'm struggling in this department. All right, that's gonna be the last one for right now. I gotta stand up, my hand's cramping. The pricing thing is definitely the biggest headache for all you guys getting into it. And for everyone that's been into it, right, we all have to start pricing our first job. So how do we do that? The way that I learned how to price was by losing a lot of jobs. So when I started, I didn't know any better. The way that I'm going to tell you might be a little bit more helpful, might save you a little heartache, but I just kind of guessed, I guess, and I was pricing roof jobs a little too high. I was pricing gutter jobs a little too high, and I was pricing house washers a little too high. And you quickly find out where your price margin is once you start winning the jobs. That's kind of the hard way. That's kind of the expensive way to find out. It worked for me. You know, you lose a handful of jobs, and then a few months later you don't even care, right? Because you've learned, you've started booking business, started closing business, and if you lost out on $1,000, you've more than made that back by now, right? What I would recommend to you guys, since pricing is different everywhere, it's a little bit sleazy, I guess, but you know, you got to do what you got to do, right? You're either going to get in there and hustle, or you're not. I would find some local wash guys. I'd call them up, give them an address, whether it's yours or just some random one on Google Maps, and ask them for a quote and say, I want to get my roof done. Have 3 guys quote that job for you. Say you want your house washed. Have 3 guys quote that for you, and then you'll immediately know what the price is. Again, that's just, you got to be a little bit of an investigator. I am quite certain that has happened to me multiple times. It doesn't really piss me off, so I don't really know why it would piss anyone else off. If you're in business doing this stuff, you're going to be giving quotes out all the time. Some of them are going to land, some of them aren't. You'll never know if it's a competitor or not. So I would just focus on doing it that way. That's the easiest way, and hopefully that helps. But yeah, I lost a handful of opportunities in the beginning, and it's the name of the game. A year and a half later, it doesn't matter, right? I know what my price point is. I know what I can get in my area for certain jobs, and once you figure it out one time, you will never have to worry about it again. Because every time someone calls you for a job, you're going to look at it and be like, oh, well, I can get this for this job. This is what I want to work for. There it is. If I do 20 jobs a week, most likely everything is within a $50 price range. If I'm doing 50 house washes, they're all going to be within 50 bucks of each other. It's going to vary a little bit with size and if there's a couple extra projects, but it's going to get really easy. I don't use a formula. I don't do square foot. I look at a house and I just know that I want to get 300 bucks for this house, 325, 350 for this house. That's kind of where it is in my area. All right, guys, I hope this is helpful. We got some more coming every Friday. We're going to start rattling off these questions. These are just the ones that I have had put on the channel in the past. Like I said, I figure if one guy has a question, if I answer it, it could help everyone else. So fill up these comments, this comment section with questions, and we're gonna start doing this every Friday, and we're gonna start getting the ball rolling for some of you guys, eh?